Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Brian and Jim here with Drink a Beer and Play a Game, and today we are bringing you our Level 50 Club update.
Yeah, so we didn't do one in June, so we're combining June and July. It doesn't matter. Since the last video, this is the next update.
Yeah, we've been... I was going to say we picked up the pace, but then I'm like, oh, that's 2 months worth.
Yeah, it's not really a pickup. Consistent.
We're still above average, and I think we'll definitely beat the challenge, but I think the momentum we had in early months really slowed down a bit.
Yeah, it was a rough pace to keep up.
Yeah.
We're not like Lucas or Todd, who just finished up, so congratulations, Todd.
Yeah, well, Lucas doubled. He's already over 100. I don't know if he's still tracking at this point, but... dude, you killed it. I think Big Hat Paul is in the 70s now.
Something like that, yeah.
And then, yeah, Todd, Snarkcast, you already hit 50, so congrats.
Yeah, you guys are killing it this year. Keep it up.
Yeah. But, so for the past 2 months, the first game I was actually able to complete was Bioshock 2, and you and I love Bioshock 1.
Yep.
I think it took everything about 1 and just did a little bit of tweaks to make the gameplay better. So you still get like the awesome atmosphere, a few different type of enemies, some more interesting power-ups, because this time you are one of the big daddies. That's kind of the big draw to it. I would highly suggest it, like I did with Bioshock 1. I'm going a solid A for that one. I love the first game, love the second game. Everyone keeps telling me a third one sucks. So I'll try it out, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. My first one up, it's one that's probably on your list, so you might as well bang it out now. Tmnt, Shredder's Revenge. I think this game is on everybody's goddamn list this year. Because A, it's Turtles coming back, B, it was on Game Pass, and C, it's a really good game. So, yeah, perfect throwback, basically, to the old school Turtles beat-em-up games. You can have up to 6 people play it online, from what I've seen. I haven't been able to drag that many people together, but... the art style is basically perfect for what they're going for. The music's really well done. Control's great. I only have one complaint. It's too easy.
Did you try it on higher difficulties?
No, but I tried it by myself. Because the first time we only played it together, and then I tried it by myself.
But see, I felt the same with Streets of Rage. Unless you went really high with the difficulty, I could get through Streets of Rage by myself.
Yeah, I mean, with like... It's weird, though, because with Streets of Rage, you could kind of... I forget, could you game over in that single-player mode? I mean, like, you could probably just restart from where you last saved, I guess.
Yeah.
But where in this, like, your lives reset, like, from level to level. Which almost makes it... It makes it seem a little too easy, but... Yeah, I don't know why I don't like it as much as Streets of Rage. I just think I like that style of beat-em-up more. But I still really liked Shredder's Revenge. And on, like, a second playthrough, I was like... I don't know, a little bit of the sheen wore off when I did it a second time and when I did it by myself. It's still fantastic and great game. Like, I'm giving it an A. I know a lot of people would probably give it higher, but for me, it's a very solid A.
Yeah, I'm mostly agreeing with Jim. The biggest difference for me is, one, it offered a lot more variety in gameplay than Streets of Rage. The music was much better than Streets of Rage. Everything else, it is Streets of Rage. Like the combo styles, the super moves, all that shit. Like I said, I think you just have a little bit more to play with in this game. And you add in the nostalgia factor, it's an easy S for me. It's the best beat-em-up in the past, I don't know, however many years of modern beat-em-ups. So yeah, it's one that whether you're a Turtles fan, a beat-em-up fan, you can have a ton of fun. And if you get to play with your friends...
It makes it better.
It's even better. So yeah, I'd highly, highly recommend it. But yeah, that was also my game too. So right back to you, Jim.
So my next game, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I can't believe this game is as good as it is. Like, you tell me an Ubisoft developed, side game to Mario as like a tactical action game with the fucking Rabbids from Rayman. And you go, oh, this is going to be stupid. And then you play it and you're like, God damn, this is pretty fun. And it's pretty goddamn charming. I do have 2 complaints with it.
Okay.
The first is, like, it's obviously made for kids. It's like baby's first tactical game.
Yeah.
So with that, like, the beginning world, it's basically broken up into 4 main worlds. And there's like 10 so battles, like main missions in each one.
Okay.
So the whole, like, the first 8 battles of the first world is like just introducing you to everything.
Okay.
It's super easy and it's kind of boring.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the game, they break up the battles with like these little lever puzzles here and there, like every 2 or 3 battles or something like that. By the end, like I was just sick of them, and I just wanted to be done with it at this point.
You did everything enough where you're like, fuck, another one of this style.
Yeah, like there's a ton of like unlocks with like weapons, and then like art and music and stuff like that. So I mean, there is a ton of content in this freaking game for you to do. And if you want 100% everything, like then there's also like super challenges and stuff like that you can go back to.
Yeah.
And the challenges are actually they can get really freaking tough. So like if you want to have advanced gameplay, there's advanced gameplay there. But the base game I thought was a little longer than it needed to be, but it was still really good. So I gave it an A. Like it's like the cutscenes are actually funny. Like I thought they'd be annoying. They're actually funny. Like the graphics are beautiful for the Switch, like nice and colorful. And yeah, good sound. Like it's a shockingly solid game. And the actual core combat's fun too.
Okay. Do you think you'll see yourself going back to it?
Not for a while, because I kind of was burnt out with it by the time I was done.
Yeah.
So like I knew the new one's coming out soon, and there's actually the free DLC of the Donkey Kong expansion that you can just have with it now. And I hear that's like 20-hour expansion or something. I hear that's pretty long. So I would go back to that first before buying a new game, but I'm not dying to jump back in anytime soon.
Gotcha. Yeah, my next one is one that I actually feel like Jim would appreciate or try. It's called Moonen. It's a puzzle game is the best way to describe it, but it's also a platformer. But the difference is you're in usually a grid-style map that's anywhere from 3x3 to 2x4, if that makes sense. And you can rotate the tile, so you rotate the map itself in order to collect feathers, because you're playing as one of Odin's ravens who got turned into a human, and to come back as a raven, you gotta find your feathers. So you go through all the Norse worlds, and each world has its own, like one of them is like you gotta fill certain areas with water, others is like fire. It's weird. I think each world has 6 or 7 levels. The first 3 are always like, this is easy. I'm going to beat it.
Yeah.
Then the difficulty hits with like 4. You're like, okay, it's a little tricky. And then usually like the last 2 or 3, you're like, what the fuck? Like a puzzle level should not take me 20 minutes to figure out. And some of them just get ridiculous. And the final level is just, man, it's hard. Beautifully drawn. Music is like that kind of just ambient background noise, but it's well done. I think it was an indie game, but I can still only give it a C. It's well made. It's fun if you like puzzles, but for someone like me, I was over it after the first couple worlds. I was like, I got to keep going. If you really like puzzles, give it a try. You may like it better than I did.
All right, fair. Next up for me, Death Smiles 2. I played it on the Switch, but I mean, it's been out for ages now. Like, it was originally an arcade game in Japan, and then I think it was on the 360 in Japan too. And then this is the first time I think it's been localized. It's in a collection with 1. So I talked about it on the podcast before. I was a big fan of 1, so when I saw the collection, I was like, all right, I'll buy 1 again so I can get 2. Like, I got the bundle. Well, it's not a bundle; it's just the game. But yeah, it's fun. It's a very solid, cave, kind of bullet hell shoot 'em up. There's a story mode that's like a more fleshed out version, both like gameplay and graphically, than the original arcade, but you can play the original as well.
Yeah.
And it's a short game. Like, you can plow through it in a half hour, that kind of deal. But on story mode, like, I 1CC'd it the first time. I guess I put it on easy, didn't realize it. But yeah, there is some. It took me a couple, deaths on arcade mode to get through it. So if I ever wanted to try and 1CC it, it'll definitely take some practice. But no, good graphics. I don't like the move to more. It's more polygonal than it was. Like, it was all just like sprites before, and like
Gotcha.
1 had great artwork. This one, it's all right. So, but no, overall, still a solid game, so I gave it a B. Like, if you're a fan of these kind of bullet hell shooters, you'll get some fun out of it.
Nice. Next one is actually, it was a Patreon request for us to play. I went through it all the way through. SpiderMan from 2018, or 2018 or 19, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Really, really fun. The only sad thing is it was a PS4 exclusive. I wish I could have gotten to play it before. Like, this was part of was going to play anyway. I went above and beyond. Like, I did every side mission. I did these special challenge missions, like, so I could fight Taskmaster, who was like an optional boss. So I love the hell out of it. It's what you would want a Spider-Man game to feel like webbing through the city and traversing it felt perfect. If I had one complaint, it's that a lot of the objectives ended up being very samey. So it would be go to this area, clear out bad guys, or your time trial to get to a certain roof or do something by a certain amount of time. I like that they clearly have an idea of setting up the story, and obviously Spider-Man Miles Morales is out, which is it's directly tied to this game. So I like how they set it up, and I thought they were very clever about the villains you did face and how you faced them. That was the highlight for me. I didn't have a lot I didn't like, even with it being kind of repetitive. Man, I think I might still have to give it an S.
Wow.
I really liked it. I can see where some people would have an issue with it, but I am a sucker for really well done 360 combat. I think of it like Batman Arkham, or like this, when you're surrounded by enemies and it's completely seamless, like using different gadgets or web things or dodging things at the perfect time. That felt great, and I like that you do it so much in a game. So yeah.
Cool. Next up for me, speaking of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. So, still a Switch exclusive. You know what? If you're a fan of the Ultimate Alliance games, you will like this game. I know, because I can see how people get bored with them, because it's really, it's beat-em-up RPG elements. So, big area, fight a bunch of guys, and fight a boss. And then go to another area, fight a bunch of guys, fight a boss. Rinse and repeat for 10 hours.
Especially when you use the same team all game.
Very true. I could have changed it up, but I didn't. But you know what? I like my guys. I had my tanks, I had my shooters, I had my this and that. Yay! But, you do the same old combining powers, little bit of, tiniest bit of puzzly stuff where you have to combine the right powers to unlock certain things. So, but yeah, if you like Ultimate Alliance, you'll enjoy it. If you don't, there's nothing here for you. But I love the Ultimate Alliance and X-Men Legends game, so I gave it an A. If you're a fan of this type of genre of game, it gives you everything you want, and it's total fan service because there's a billion characters in it. I do know a big complaint is that they didn't really do anything with different costumes, but I don't really care about that.
But Jim, don't you want the different attires?
Nah.
You don't care about costumes in games? Bastard. Yeah, that's one.
Bastard.
That's one I'll get to.
Jesus.
This next one is a really odd one, and I was going back to my earlier in the year roots of trying out more indie horror games. And one I heard about was Bon Bon. And you're basically, I guess, a 3 or 4-year-old, and it starts very innocuously. You're in the backyard, and your mom is saying, "Hey, bring the balls into the house." Out the corner of your eye, you see an 8-foot rat that looks like an inflatable toy at first. And every so often, you see him starting to move closer to you. You're like, that's kind of weird, but you don't think anything of it. As the game progresses, he becomes more vicious and glowing red eyes, and then it turns full horror by the end. What you don't know is is this just in the kid's imagination? Is it real? So it was just a creepy way to introduce a weird looking cutesy rat and this helplessness of being a kid. The game was 20 minutes. So I didn't realize how short of a game it was. When it was over, I was like, wait, that was it? So I can't give it... I'll give it a C, and that's being very generous, because...
Is it on Game Pass?
It's on Steam.
Oh, okay. How much?
$2, $3.
Okay, that's at least fine for 20 minutes.
That's right. It's and maybe there's different ways you can do things. I just was like, okay. It was just a creepy little walkthrough simulator where you could go outside the boundaries, but you were very limited in ultimately what you could finish the game with. Like I said, if you're into horror games and you want a jump scare with your friend, it's fine. But I can't give it any higher than a C. And like I said, I think I'm being a little generous with that.
Bon Bon.
Jim, that's going to be your new nickname.
It might be. It's a fun name to say.
Damn it.
Next up. So, you were just singing the praises of Shredder's Revenge. I have a fucking beat 'em up that I have to sing the praises of. Goddamn Final Vendetta. What a fucking great beat 'em up. If you are a mark for Streets of Rage and Final Fight like I am, like, those are the type of beat 'em ups I prefer.
But you're not good at them.
Shut your whore mouth. Like, obviously, like, Turtles style has its own style different from, like, you know, Streets of Rage. And then you have, like, the other kind of beat 'em ups that are like River City Girls and Scott Pilgrim that I don't like, where or especially fucking Double Dragon Neon. I tried playing that again and I could not stand it.
Yeah.
Where, you know, the enemies just take so many goddamn hits to kill, even normal enemies. But the thing I liked so much about Final Vendetta 2 is the fact that if you're like huge into Streets of Rage and you know the little tricks, like you can apply those to this, and like it's almost like rewarding you for being such a fan of those old beat 'em ups. Like where you're looking at a corner and you're like, that seems like a lot of foreground stuff. Wonder there's something there, and then you like randomly pick up a hidden extra life, that kind of deal.
Okay.
Or you know like canceling out throws and shit like that, the way you could in other games, and like it's from Bitmap Bureau, and their graphics are always like top notch, like super fluid animation. The music in the game's also fantastic. You have boss rush modes that you can unlock and super hard difficulties you can eventually unlock, but like if you just love those, like if that genre of beat 'em up is your thing, it's going to give you everything you want. Like I gave it an S. I fucking loved it.
Okay. So my final game, a game that, like most games out there, is not worth the price tag it holds. I finally finished Resident Evil Gaiden.
Oh boy.
And I can't say I went into it with expectations. Being the Resident Evil super nerd that I am, I was hoping for something. What I will say is what they tried to achieve and the way they deal with combat. Travis, our buddy, actually pointed out, it is similar to like a Sweet Home style to a degree, except you're not getting really pop-ups from enemies. It's real, like you can see the zombies there. What was not apparent from when I started the game is, and I should know this from Resident Evils, but I never finished Resident Evil and felt like I have no ammo to finish the final boss or final enemies. This game, like, I applied the same logic I would any Resident Evil. I was not just, like, fighting everything I could.
Right.
And in this game, you actually, when you kill certain zombies, they are dropping ammo, so you kind of have to do it. And then the way you navigate the ship, like, you'll get a little beep that, like, you're near something. So that's how you find items versus, like, something shiny. All that being said, it's also weird it's a non-canon game where you're Barry Burton looking for Leon Kennedy, who is also looking for a girl on this ship. And then there's all this, like, double backstabbing going on. It's a weird game, I'll just say that. When I got to the end of the game, and it took me about 6 or 7 hours, I had not even a single bullet to finish a boss, which you just have to keep pushing backwards, so I couldn't even use the knife even if I was trying to dodge other things. So I basically had to use a cheat for infinite ammo just to finish off the final boss. It was so weird. The music is so ear-piercingly annoying that's one of the things that really got to me. At first I liked the track, and when you realize, oh, you're just going to keep getting this over and over, I struggle, but I will give it a C just for what it did on a game. It was Game Boy Advance
Color.
So just the fact that was a Game Boy game, I'm giving it kudos for that. It's the bare minimum of a C that there can possibly be. Do not spend the amount required to get that game right now. Do what I did. Emulate it. Try it out. If you fall in love with it, you know what? Go play it. But if you spend the $300 or whatever the hell it's going to cost to get that game, you're going to be disappointed.
Yep. So for masochists and super collectors only, huh?
Yeah, for real. And I'm trying to finish my Resident Evil collection, and I'll wait till you buy it and I'll steal it off you.
No, I have no interest. I should have bought it when it was like 100 some, but I didn't, and now it's too late. So
yeah. Oh well.
Yep. My final game, Halo Wars 2. It was one of my New Year's resolution games. I actually just beat it last night, so good timing. I enjoyed it, but Brian, you're about to hear a phrase that I have almost never said on this show.
Go on.
The story ruined it for me.
that would imply you paid attention to the story.
I did.
Is it because you had to?
I mean, not entirely.
Okay.
But here, you're getting your mission briefings, and there's a lot of story, like as the missions are loading and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I played on the original Xbox One, so there are some pretty long load times for each mission. But there's also like these really like super high quality cinematic CGI cutscenes too. After like every couple levels, and like they were ridiculously well done. Like it looks like something that like a full high budget CGI movie would have.
Okay.
So like that, the graphics blow you away, kind of like the original Halo Wars' cutscenes did. The core gameplay itself, it's fun. Once again, it's Halo Wars, so it's, I'm using this phrase again, but it's baby's first RTS. Because it's on a console, they had to limit it again, so you can't just build a base anywhere. There's specific spots you can do it. And the maps are, of course, smaller because, you have to traverse around a map, and you can't have it be too big with the control scheme.
Yeah.
But it's a solid RTS time for being as simple as it is. It's not, like, the most insanely deep one in the world, but, it's fine. And I was going to originally give it a B. But the fucking story. So they spent this entire time building up this super brood who like was the only one to turn on the elites and survive, and like some of the elites turned to him. His name was Atriox, and he's a super badass villain guy. And you're this older ship from the Colonial Marines or whatever, and like they were trapped in a time loop, and they come out and they're underpowered and all this shit. And I'm like, yeah, really getting into this. And then for one, the last mission is surprisingly easy compared to the rest of the other missions.
Okay.
And then after you finish it, it's just like your guy standing in a window and Atriox standing in front of his troops, and the story ends. There's no payoff.
Is it like...
It's implying that like, they're all planning their next moves, and like I think a part of the problem is because the game was kind of designed to kind of be a live service with the online portion.
That it may be like they intended it to keep, it was a cliffhanger to set you up for the next.
Yeah, and I know that there's a couple expansions, and I'm not going to get to them anytime soon. But even from the little bit I saw, I don't think it doesn't close out the story anyway, even after that.
Well, I remember the original, since I started diving into Halo again this year, wasn't the original Halo Wars like in canon like the first of the entire series?
I forget where it fell.
I know it's way before the original Halo game. I just don't know if Halo Wars 2, did that take place right after 1?
No, it took place like I don't. It didn't really set a specific time.
Yeah,
I think it took place more so after 1. But it's been like 10 years since I played Halo Wars 1. So
I'm just curious if like maybe they handle that relationship in like a different game.
Maybe, but I mean these are all characters mostly for this. I don't think they're in any of the other games.
Okay.
So. But yeah, I mean, like, I like the little things they added. Like, if you have the Spartan heroes on your team, you can take over the enemy ships and stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
That's cool. And, like, building the base is fun, but
the story,
the fucking story fucking gave me blue balls, so I'm giving it a C.
Wow.
It's fine. It's on Xbox Game Pass. Play it for free if you want. But, yeah, I mean, it left me wanting more, but it left me disappointed. So, for once in my goddamn life...
You paid attention.
I paid attention, and look what happened. Look what happened when I pay attention to a video game story. Left with nothing.
Well, I wish you luck with stories and your other games coming up.
Nope, never again. Never paying attention again.
So we're hitting at the tail end of 30. Like I said, I have no doubt we're going to hit 50. If you were to give a bold prediction, how many games do you think you'll actually finish out the year with?
I'll say a little over 50.
You think you'll hit 60?
Maybe. I would say I'll be, because I think after I do the level 50 stuff, I'm going to try and include the rest of my resolution games into that. But then after that, I'm going to just spend more time with like some bigger games that I've been trying to like either finish off or put more time. Like I'll finally put some real time in Elden Ring at that point.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think I'm gonna, same as you. I'm gonna get through this. I have my resolution games, and then there's just gonna be a lot that like, I don't know. I like this idea of like I keep trying a new game, but there's other games where I go, I wish I could spend a little more time with it.
Yeah.
But I feel the need to finish. So. Once again, we want to thank all you who have been joining Level 50 Club. We had a lot of people join in later in the year, so keep up the work. If you don't get to 50, who cares? If you get way over 50, that's awesome. It's more about like trying to gauge how many games you actually think you can beat in a year, and maybe that can help inform you. Like instead of buying a whole bunch of brand new games, If you know you're someone that only beats 4 games a year, you're like, maybe I don't need to do that. So
Yeah, and if you've been keeping track of your games all year and you're new to the page and just discovering their little level 50 club, do a tweet, post your entire friggin' list, and use the hashtag, and boom, you're joining it with us. So
absolutely.
You're part of the leaderboard with the rest of them.
So hope you guys enjoy it. Continue on our lucky streak. Get, because the beer. It's called.
God damn it.
And cheers, guys.
Cheers.